Yeah.
Okay, I think we're working. Yep. So we can just pretend that doesn't exist.
No. Now let's just put you all there.
Yeah.
And if we're really... We'll just look somewhere else.
Yeah. We're all huddling. So welcome everyone. My name's Leanne Peters and my husband Corey, who's out there. We welcome you to our gallery. So thanks for coming. Thank you for joining us today for this enchanting and character-filled, it's so good to see so many characters, exhibition, Faerie Folklore by Penny Halton-Hulbert. Halton-Hulbert. I always get tongue twisted with your name, sorry. And Oliver Patch, which I think is perfect name for this exhibition. They are a mother and son team from right here in Campbelltown. So it's refreshing to me to get the exhibition. Usually we've got paintings hanging in here, so it's refreshing to me to get things off the wall and things down onto the plinths, which is exciting, and we can showcase these incredible handmade characters that fill the room. The imagination and craftsmanship and vision for each of these characters is quite spectacular. So Oliver, we're going to start with you. Let's make sure we haven't got any comments here. Okay, Oliver, there is a theme going on with your daffodil dragons. So we've got daffodil dragon sculptures, we've got daffodil dragon sketches behind us. What can you tell us about the daffodil dragon?
Well, they were first inspired a long time ago, back in 2011. I was just sitting in the garden one day, sketching basically, and I just thought to myself, what would happen if a daffodil that I was looking at would just get up and start walking around? And the little one over there, that's basically just a bulb with a couple of legs on it, was the original variation. Just started off with a bulb with legs on it. And then they've developed over time into more dragon-like features, more unusual body shapes. So we've got some that are akin to water, we've got others that are land-based, one which is sort of like a tortoise variation. And they were sort of inspired, I suppose, by carnivorous plants. The ability that a plant could move really inspired me to come up with this idea of like another evolutionary timeline where plants could get up and start walking around and interacting with each other and doing all this sort of stuff. But I suppose a lot of it came from surrealists such as like Salvador Dali, Hieronymus Bosch, surrealist artists of that nature, just looking at the world from a different perspective and seeing how it all interacts and changes and all that sort of stuff. But also the Impressionists, the early French Impressionists with their colour range, sort of conveying emotion with bright colour. That always sort of inspired me. So I've sort of gone with that as well in the colour range mainly. But
I love how this one, like I can see the difference between this first one and this one here, for example. And I love these almost like, what would you call those little Japanese sort of moustaches that hang down?
The whisper beards.
These have been getting longer by the look of it. Oh,
they have
here,
been,
in this one. What about with your other little ones? Are they the newer, because they're quite short there, or does it just depend on what you're feeling at the time?
Usually this variation here has the long petals coming down, the sort of beardy description. A few other species have that as well.
Yeah. So do you call them different species?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them are sort of branched into families. So like the tortoise variant will be a whole other range of dragons themselves. That's going to develop into a whole other range. Is this
the green ones down here?
The picture. So
yes, okay.
The sketch.
Yeah.
And then the one out the front with all the wings on it, that's a new variant that I've just come up with for this exhibition. So I'm looking into doing more winged variants and more, dragon-like stuff, but keeping it a little sort of like insect-like, arachnids, sort of... prey mantises and all that sort of stuff as well, looking into that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So you've got a very good imagination.
I let it run sometimes.
So what about the process of creation? So with your sculpture, like, can you take us through a bit of how you made the sculptures?
Well, it starts off with a wire armature, so just giving it a bit of a skeletal structure.
Like a frame sort
like
of thing
a frame
underneath?
To support the whole thing. And then I go over the top of that with aluminium foil, sort of giving it a bit of muscle tone, building it out. And then over the top of that, I skin it with polymer clay, and then just go over it with some acrylic paints to give some, variety, variability in the colours. But yeah,
So are you baking the clay? The polymer clay goes in the oven?
it goes in the
usually?
oven, yeah. But I want to get back to normal clay and all that sort of stuff, baking
yeah.
kilns and doing all that sort of stuff. But this
Yeah,
is
nice.
all I could do for what I had available at the moment.
So your armature underneath and your foil was fine in the
Yeah,
oven? with
yeah.
the
The
clay?
polymer clay doesn't shrink as much as like stoneware or something or other. You haven't got the 10% shrinkage, so you
Yeah.
can actually have like a wire structure underneath the whole sculpture, and it's not going to shrink so much it'll crack and distort
yeah.
or anything. So you can create these really elegant, tall pieces, and that's what I like. I like the elegancy because you look through history at like marble carving and a lot of other sort of forms of sculpture. They require a lot of architecture to make them stand up properly.
Yeah.
Marble sculptures require, a lot of structuring at the back, all this sort of stuff. So I like to make them as light and as strong as possible to sort of,
Yeah, very
a
nice.
juxtaposition on that.
Yeah. And so are there any questions for Ollie while we're on the subject? It's pretty interesting, isn't it? I love it how you've got them in these jars like specimens. It's brilliant.
Well, that was kind of the idea that,
Yeah.
this crazy scientist had been going around collecting fairy specimens. That was the idea, really.
So are you the crazy scientist?
Could be.
And for those of you watching online, I will share a video so you can see what we're talking about later. So, okay, thank you. Thanks, Oliver. Okay, Penny, your attention to detail and skill, I should go like this, is extraordinary. I mean, Penny has hand crocheted all these little clothes and everything, and they're all felted and handmade. It's just amazing. So how did this exhibition come together for you? Like, how did it all come together? Because I think it was probably a bit of a mess for a while, and then hopefully they started sort of appearing. Excuse me, reaching over here.
Gosh, yes. No, it just sort of happened that I got involved in reading about fairies and goblins and things like that. So I just felt a connection, always felt a connection to Ireland and to the mythology of the leprechaun and the fairy. And then when I had a look at my garden is so British, and all those plants were brought out by the people who settled here. So I sort of envisaged a little bit of Irishness in my own garden with the plants that were there.
So elderberry, hawthorn.
I started with the elderberry.
Because that's the elderberry one over here, isn't it?
I started with the hawthorn.
Oh, the hawthorn was first,
when I was doing the figures. So she had she's the fairy that lives in the white thorn tree, which is the hawthorn tree. And you can appease her by leaving her pots of mashed potato. Otherwise, you could end up with some mischief around your home.
Oh.
Right? And you've got to be very careful with the leprechaun too. He can cause a little problem for you.
He looks like a troublemaker, but he looks like very kind and cheeky.
He's kind and cheeky, yes. He doesn't have his pot of gold, and he doesn't have his bags to sort of taunt people with, is it real gold or not real gold? But they were traditionally little shoemakers, weren't they? And some of them dressed in green and some of them dressed in red. So we move around to the next one. He's dressed in red, but he was supposed to be a dog rose, and he turned into a dog. And then I was going through my newsfeed, and Lord Derby came up, and I thought, oh, Lord Dogby. So he turned into being, instead of the dog rose, he turned into Lord Dogby. So you go with the flow. And then we have another little gnome, sort of nondescript little elf. And then we go around to flower wine. And flower wine popped up on my family tree, and I just had to name something called flower wine. So I don't know who gave that name, probably a father, mother. And then we have the elderberry queen, because the elderberry is the queen of the herbs because of her medicinal qualities and the music that can be made if you hollow out the elderberry stem. It makes a beautiful flute, and that's the magic of the magic music to the fairies.
Wow.
It's music that comes through the elderberry. So she's been done for the elderberry.
Yeah.
And then we have at the front, we have the little kitchen Bixie who comes in at night. And
hopefully
the
cleans
kitchen.
up,
He
does he?
cleans the
Yeah.
kitchen, yeah. So, yeah.
Very good. And what
Yeah.
about this little duo?
The little duo, well, the little girl, the little elf, I didn't give her a face at all to begin with because I was thinking of the Steiner education and how the dolls don't have faces. And then the children can create their own emotions within the doll. But just to present her, I just did put in a pair of eyes. And she's with the dog, and the dog and her have a relationship. It's more of a story board, so to speak. Like children can look at it and make up their own story about the dog and the little elf, Pixie. Yeah.
They
So
look like good friends.
they're good
Yeah.
friends. Yeah.
So can you pick one of these and tell us how you went about making it?
Which one would I? Okay. We'll start then with the. Well, they were all made much the same.
Do you want to bring this?
No, it's all right. We'll say the leprechaun.
The leprechaun.
Okay, but they're all made in much the same way. But I start off with a head, and that can be it just comes from what I want to see in the face, and then it dictates what it is after the head. So I do a lot of heads all in a row.
Yeah.
And then from the head, I do the proportioning, for the body proportions for the sculpture. And I make a lot of balls, and then you put all the balls together to give the structure of the doll, and put the wire through. So you work a little bit differently. I don't do the wire and then the sculpture. I do the sculpture and then add it to the wire.
Yeah, right.
Because you can cut it and then sew it on. It quickens the process.
Yeah.
So, so then you get him to stand, which Ollie helped me do. But yeah, it's just proportioned like you would do a sculpture.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
so-
you do the fine details like the costume and the
Oh,
hair
the
and
costuming
all
and
that.
everything comes later. Yeah,
Yeah.
once he starts to, form his character and where you put their arms or, what they do. They sort of talk to you as you...
Yeah,
as
and
you
I
work
love
on
like
it.
all of your sculptures, same with yours, Ollie, they're all doing something really interesting. They're not just sort of standing there doing nothing.
No.
Like they're very expressive.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, got like really there's a lot of story behind them. It's really exciting. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your creations?
No.
How does it feel seeing them all? Because I guess, you would have had the process of creating each individual one, but how does it feel
Well,
having
it
them?
feels lovely to see them all like this because originally I started off with 18 and as they didn't sort of fit together, they had to get cold and put aside. So I'll go back and work on them again. But you had to get an overall picture of size and colour and make them all fit
Cohesive,
together.
yeah.
Cohesive, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm pleased with what.
Yeah, it looks brilliant. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
both done a really good job. Thank you.
Yeah.
So are there any questions for Penny or Ollie?
I was just going to ask Penny,
Mm.
the felting,
Mm.
you make the felt yourself, like do you get wool or do you start with felt and then,
Okay. I'm doing it differently. I'm using commercial felt.
yeah,
And I've gone from using a wool blend to using pure wool because it just gives you such better features. So the base of it is I'm actually working with an acrylic with polyfill because I can felt it to the point where I can needle felt in the commercial felt and it holds its shape well. If you're using wool, I'm finding it's not that easy to get it that hard. You've got to felt hard, not soft. Otherwise, you can't get the proper shapes if you felt soft. The dog, on the other hand, he was made with the polyester, covered then in felt, and then covered again in fleece. Right, so that's how you're making the animals. So you're adding fleece and hair goes on top of that as well. So that's how
Yeah,
it's
good.
done.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, well, thank you. So please stay around to chat further with Penny and Ollie, and I'll be serving some scones and jam and cream and some refreshments up the back if you're interested in staying. You're very welcome. So the exhibition's open every day, 9 to 5 until Wednesday, the 4th of February, if you want to let any of your friends or family know. So I want to thank you all for coming, and thanks for watching online, and congratulations to both of you for creating such imaginative and expressive, highly detailed work. Yeah, it's great to see them together, so well done. Thank you.